All right, let's get it. Today, I want to discuss the movie Sinners. And I know that there are a lot of reviews, a lot of recaps, etc., etc. But I want to go on a different route. I want to talk about things that people missed in their reviews and recaps. So, with that being said, let's get into it. The first thing I would like to address is all of this social media buzz that's saying that the movie is a ripoff of From Dusk Till Dawn. Let me start by saying I enjoyed From Dusk Till Dawn. I think it's a great movie. But I also have to say, for those who think that this movie is a ripoff, you missed the point. You totally don't understand what this movie is actually about, which I'll get into as I progress through this video. Now, are there some similarities? A few, a couple. But to say that they're the same movie, to say that it's a ripoff, to say that it's a copy, I can't ride with you on that. It's almost like saying every zombie movie is a ripoff of George A. Romero's Night of the Living Dead. You see what I'm saying? Yes, there's going to be some similarities, but they're not the same. World War Z is not a ripoff of Night of the Living Dead. The TV show The Walking Dead is not a ripoff of The Walking Dead. Are there similarities? Of course. But you can only do so much when you're writing about a specific topic or a specific genre. See what I'm saying? And for those who are talking about the representation portion, knock it off. I'm just saying, knock it off. I know a lot of these things didn't happen in the social media era, but From Dusk to Dawn stars George Clooney, Quentin Tarantino, Juliette Lewis, Harvey Keitel. None of those people are Hispanic. You follow me? The Mask of Zorro, which stars Antonio Banderas, but Anthony Hopkins plays Don Diego de la Vega, a British guy. Catherine Zeta-Jones is British. So if you're not going to talk about the representation in those films, then please miss me if you're talking about representation in this movie. It just does not apply. Okay? Okay, cool. Not a single moment. The next thing I want to address is this movie is not an indictment on Christianity. Now, from this point on, there will be spoilers. So if you haven't seen the movie, go watch the movie, then come back and finish watching this video. But again, from here on out, there will be spoilers. So there are people who saying that this movie is an indictment on Christianity. I rebuke that. Now this is up for interpretation. But, people are saying that when he recites the Lord's Prayer, that the vampire started reciting the Lord's Prayer with him, and therefore it was some type of suggestion that the Lord's Prayer didn't actually work. But he survived. He made it home. So did the Lord's Prayer work? Again, it's up for interpretation. The other thing that I would like to address, and this is just my opinion, this movie is not about the Smokestack twins. This movie is about Preacher Boy. This movie is about Sammy. Yes, I recognize that Michael B. Jordan is the star. But I'm going to tell you why this movie is about Preacher Boy. He's the first person that we see, and he's the last person that we see. So one can argue that this movie is being told from Preacher Boy's perspective. And I'm going to tell you later on in this video that further reinforces my point that this movie is really about Preacher Boy. Now, as I was just saying, Michael B. Jordan is the star of this movie. That's not up for debate. And in my opinion, I think this is probably his best performance, even though I enjoyed him as Killmonger in Black Panther. But the fact that he played twins, and you can see the difference. You can easily, again, this is just my opinion, but you can easily distinguish the difference between the two. So I think this is by far his best performance. And I just have to say that I enjoyed this movie. I enjoyed his performance. Actually, I enjoyed all of the performances. But again, I think that this is his best performance. And I also find it interesting that people are saying that this movie is going to get some Oscar nominations. I'm shocked at that. I really am. At my initial viewing, I didn't think that it was Oscar worthy. I thought it was entertaining. I enjoyed the movie, but I didn't think that it would get Oscar nominations. But others that I've seen, other people in the film industry, are saying that this film will probably get some Oscar nominations. One, for the score, and two, they're saying Delroy Lindo will probably get a nomination as a Best Supporting Actor. So yeah, I hope it does. I have no problem with this film getting some Oscar nominations with the buzz. Like I said, I enjoyed the movie. In its second weekend, I think it's grossed to like 162 million worldwide. I hope it continues. I hope it doesn't top out here. I would like to see the movie make 300 million myself. I think that would sort of solidify its place. But again, I enjoyed the movie. People are saying it's going to get some Oscar nominations. So kudos to Ryan Coogler. Kudos to the cast. Like I said, it was just a good movie. I enjoyed it. So now, at this point, I can tell you what this movie was actually about. Because there's a lot of symbolism in this movie. A lot of hidden messages. But if you think this is just a vampire movie, you are wrong. You are dead wrong. This movie is about cultural appropriation. And the vampires represent that. And when he tells Sammy, I want your stories, that solidified my point that this movie is about cultural appropriation, stealing the culture, stealing black people's music, stealing black people's stories. That's what this movie is actually about. The vampires represent all of the people who have profited, i.e. Elvis, the Rolling Stones, etc., etc. The people who have stolen and profited from black culture. That's what this movie is really about. And I think if you watch it with your third eye, even though I don't believe in that third eye jazz, but for the topic of this video, you know, I'm gonna go with it. If you watch with your third eye, I think you can see that this movie is really about cultural appropriation. And it's funny because, like, my guy KG was telling me as we discussed this movie, that even the Klan at the end represents the music industry. But I'm gonna take it a step further. I say the Klan at the end represents business in general, business as a whole. We'll give you a business, but we're going to do everything within our power to come and take it away from you, especially once they realize that it's profitable. They're coming for it. So, yeah, this movie is actually about cultural appropriation. And with that being said, that's why I also say that this movie is not about the Smokestack Twins. This movie is about Preacher Boy, because he was the musician. You get it now? You see how it all ties in? Once you see the big picture, it's actually kind of easy to understand. So yes, while the Smokestack Twins are the stars, Michael B. Jordan is the star. This story is really about Preacher Boy, and not about the Smokestack Twins, and not about Robert Johnson. That's another thing that people are also getting confused. There was no selling your soul to the devil for talent, which is the story of Robert Johnson. Preacher Boy already had talent. He didn't have to sell his soul, which is also why he got to survive, because he did not sell his soul. So the Robert Johnson comparisons, false. Actually not a story about Robert Johnson. And if you don't know the story of Robert Johnson, do some research and you'll understand what I'm talking about. So I've reached the conclusion of this video. I hope I've shedded some light on the movie Sinners. Again, I just want to say that I enjoyed this movie. It was totally worth it. Go check it out. If you haven't gone to check it out, again, I try and support all black actors. I try and support all black filmmakers. So yeah, go and see this movie, and get at me in the comments. You know, let me know if I'm wrong. Let me know if I'm off base. Let me know if I missed some things. With that being said, I'm going to close out this video. And like always, I appreciate your time. Peace.